is my favorite subject and a very challenging class. And if you ever take it, you should do more than just pass. In it we learn equations, linear, quadratic.
Hey guys, let's go over the Module 1B test. This is version H, December 10th, 2025, quadratics. Find the value of C that makes completes a square. So this formula is C equals B over 2 squared. Now, your A value is 1, B is negative 8. So here you have negative 4, and this is negative 4 times negative 4, which is a positive 16. C is equal to 16. C is your correct answer. I gave you guys 1.5 points. Maybe you just, didn't find the formula, and maybe you tried to factor it. Question number 2, solve this by the quadratic formula. So A is 1, B is 3, C is 5. Write down the formula always. Okay, my B value is 3. Remember, use parentheses. A value is 1 and your C value is 5. Okay, so this here is negative 20. And then 9 minus 20, a lot of you guys need a calculator. That is a negative 11. And then this is negative 1 times square root of 11, so square root of negative 1 is I. So you should get as your answer negative 3 plus or minus I radical 11 over 2. And that'll be choice B. I give you 1 point if you just wrote down the quadratic formula correct, or you did your substitutions correctly and you got 1.5 out of 2 if you did your work, but something you need to simplify, you're missing some work. Okay, question number 3. We're supposed to solve this. And so basically you're taking this and putting it into that y. This is called the substitution method for solving systems. 22 minus 3x squared equals x squared minus 14. So I gave you 1 point if you just set equal to each other. Now, it's better if your A value is positive. Remember, there's a 1. A lot of students kind of forgot that or didn't know that. So you get 4x squared minus 14. Okay, now we're going to subtract 22. So you're going to get 0 equals 4x squared minus 36. Okay, one way you can solve this is just using factoring your x box. So let's do that. 4x squared plus 0x minus 36. And then A times C, negative 144. Okay, here you have to use the box. 4x squared minus 36, negative 12x, 12x. So this will give you 2x, 2x, plus 6, and minus 6. So this would give you 2x equals negative 6, and then x equals negative 3. X equals 3. Okay, if you got here, I gave you 1.5 points for solving. Another way you could have solved this, which is faster, is called the square root method. We learned back at 1.3. Add 36 to both sides to move the C value over and isolate it. Divide by 4. get 9 equals x squared, pay attention here. Remember, it's plus or minus 3, which is the same thing over here. Okay, then you're just going to substitute that in. I think that one looks easy. Y equals x squared minus 14. So now you're just putting in the x1 value, which is -3. So 9 minus 14 will give you -5. So -3, -5. Put in 3 here. So same thing, 9 minus 14 gives you -5. So 3, -5. And the only one that shows up is F is your correct answer. Okay? All right. Number 4. Use a discriminant. Easiest one is b squared minus 4ac, which is part of the quadratic formula. A is 2, b is -4, c is 2. So -4, a value is 2, c value is 2, 16. Okay, this means -4 times 2 is -8, -16, and that is 0. So when it's equals to 0, the discriminant is 0, and when it's equal to 0, that means you only have one solution. So that would be this one right here. I gave you partial credit if you got A, or just maybe 1 point for the formula. Okay, number 5. Okay, what you don't need to do in this problem is a lot of students will try to graph it. They'll factor and solve it. You don't really need that because number 1, A's are all of them are up, and all of them already have the same x-intercept, so it's already solved. You probably only need one thing right here. Just know it's dashed. Basically means don't include the answers that are on the graph. Don't include answers, so it's not an answer on there. So that's the first thing, then inequality. The second thing here, you just need a test. So what do you test? You don't have 3 regions in this problem. You're testing 0, 0. Okay, so if I know it's dashed, that means I know it's A or C, so it's not B or D. The next thing I'm going to do is test 0, 0. So I'm going to put that into, let's write this out so you know what I'm doing. I know a lot of students got tricked and just rewrote it without the flipped inequality sign. You don't need to flip anything. So y is 0 and x is 0. So that becomes 0 is less than 0 minus 0 minus 3. So is 0 smaller than -3? The answer to that is false. Y 0 is bigger and -3 is smaller, but they're saying the bigger is smaller than the smaller, and that's not true. So that means you don't shade. Don't shade. So we just tested 0, 0, and we're not going to shade that. So the answer then is A. Okay, the partial credit for this problem is 1 point if you tested something, like a point, and I gave you guys 1.5 points if you were correct. Maybe you showed me the inequality. You were so A, B, C. So A times C is 0. My B value is 2. My two numbers are 0 and 2. Okay, this is why you need the box, because you need to show for that -1. That was your common mistake for students. 0x, 2x. Okay, so maybe put -x, x, -2, and 0. So you have -x plus 0 and x minus 2. Okay, then I'll show you how to solve on the next one. So that's using the Xbox method. This next method is just taking the GCF. So -1 times x, and 2x is just 2 and x. Okay, so how do you get a -1? Well, you can do this, right? Can't you do -1 times a -2? to show that they have a negative 1 and they also have an x. So then the only thing that's left is x minus 2. Now, you'll actually get the same answer if you just set each of those equal to 0. Divide by negative 1, get x equals 0. And you get x equals 2. And that's the same thing over here. Okay, so if you got that, I gave you 3 points. If you use a discriminant, like in the previous problem, and found that was 2 solutions, that was fine. Okay, so what you need to do next is actually test the regions. So I like to draw it out. And let's test the region. So I need a number. You can't test 0, but you can test negative 1. And you can put negative 1 back into the original. And see if it's true or false. So that becomes 1. So opposite of 1 is negative 1. So negative 3 is smaller than 0. That is true. Okay, let's test another region. X equals 1. So if I get a number between 0 and 2, same thing. Every time I have an x, or I'm putting in the parentheses, I'm replacing it. And that becomes 1 is smaller than 0, so this would be false. Okay, so then let's do the last one. X equals 3. So I get negative 9. Remember, that's PEMDAS. You're going to do, the most common mistake is do the negative sign first, which is wrong. So negative 9 plus 6. So you have negative 3 is smaller than 0, which is true. Okay, so true, true, false. That means your answers are not in the middle, but they're here. So this is negative infinity to 0. This is 2 to infinity, so you have negative infinity to 2. And then, sorry, that's 0. And then 2 to infinity, and then you just have a u, which means you unite your answers. Okay, so the other partial credit is 3.75 if you missed the u, or if you mixed up your symbols. Why do you put brackets? Brackets is because it has equals. This one would just be less than or greater than. Okay, number 7. Solve x squared minus 4x equals negative 20 by CTS. So 2 points if you just first do the CTS formula. C equals b over 2 squared. C equals, the b value is negative 4. So you have negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. And negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. So you got 2 points if you just did that. So x squared minus 4x minus 20. You want to keep these separate because you want to add 4 to both sides. X squared minus 4x plus 4 equals negative 20 plus 4. Okay, so if you factor this, you're going to get 4, negative 4 minus 2 minus 2. That becomes negative 16. So that becomes x minus 2 squared equals negative 16. Okay, now we're going to take the square root. Now when you take the square root, the next step on your answer has to have a plus or minus. So you have x minus 2. This is gone, that's gone. Okay, pay attention here. This is square root of negative 1 times square root of 16. Okay, square root of -1 is I. And the square root of 16 is 4, but I want you to notice the 4 is not inside the radical. That's a common mistake. Okay, so you just add 2, goes to the left. 2 plus or minus 4i is your answer. Okay, so if you did the C on both sides, plus 4 on both sides, I gave you 3 points. If you got to 3.75 or that should be over here. It should be 2 plus or minus square root of -16. Like you didn't know how to simplify the square root of -16. That's why you got partial credit. Okay, number 8. In this problem, you need to identify which equation. So before we find A, it's just identifying which one. So a student asked me this, right? How come I got this problem wrong? And I said, hey, does it cross the x-axis? They're like, no. So I was like, why did you write down this form? Well, this one only works if it crosses this line. This one doesn't cross this line. Let's be super clear. This one has the vertex, so you should use vertex form. That is why I write that down. So if you wrote that down, I gave you 2 points out of 4. Now you can just, figure out what you have. Well, vertex is 1, -1, HK is 1, right 1, down -1. And this other point I gave you is left 1, so -1, and down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -5. So that is your x and your y. Okay, now pay attention. If your x value here is -1, your y value is -5, your h value is 1, and your k value is -1. Okay, pay attention here. Now you go back and we're solving for A. Do you see why I'm writing that? And then plus -1. So if you simplify this, you'll just get -5 equals A minus 2 squared minus 1. -5, okay. This becomes 4. Now, a lot of students did 4 minus 3, which is wrong. You have multiplication here, so you're actually just going to add. So -4 divided by 4, A equals -1. And that makes sense because your graph is opening down. So if you got to that point, then I gave you 3 out of 4. Okay, so next you need to write an equation. So you're going to use the same thing. You're going to use y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. And this time we're only using a, h, and k to write our equations. That stays the same. That's going to stay the same. Okay, so my a value down here is -1. Your h value is 1, and your k value is -1. So your equation is this. Okay, if you got here, whoops. Okay, if you got there, then I give you 4 points for just having the correct answer, right equation. So really that's 4 points. To get the extra credit, to get standard form, okay, still PEMDAS, you're going to have to do the x minus 1 squared first. That'll give you x squared minus 2x plus 1. And then you still have the minus 1, minus 1. So here I'm going to distribute first. And then combine like terms here. So you should have this as your answer for standard form. That's how you got the 4 points. Okay, last problem. The rectangular photograph is 10 inches by 8 inches. A matte border with uniform blah 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 is going, here's a keyword, going around. So this is going around. Okay, so this is slightly different than the lesson one. This was in the practice test. The area of the matte border self is 88 inches. So this green area, this is the stuff that goes around in a picture frame. That is 88. Okay, so this is how I think of it. The whole picture frame, is equal to the photo plus the frame. So the photo is the blue part, and that blue part is 8 times 10, which is 80. And then the frame is the green portion. Okay, so the frame is 88. So the whole picture, the whole is 168. Okay, so how do I use that now? Is my equation is length times width, and my length is x plus 8 plus x, which would give me 2x plus 8. The width going across is still x plus 10 plus another x, so that would be 2x plus 10, and our total has to be less than the whole. Okay, if you got to here, I gave you 1 point extra credit. Okay, so just multiply that out. So this would give me 4x squared, 20x, 16x, and 80. So 4x squared plus 36x, just combine like terms there. Okay, subtract 168. So 4x squared plus 36x minus 88 less than or equal to 0. Okay, from here, I recognize I have a 4, so I'm going to take out a GCF. So that'll be 4 times x squared, 4 times 9x, and minus 22. Okay, so if I factor this portion, negative 22 and positive 9. So 22, 1, 2, and 11. Looks like that's my answer. 2 and 11. So you done it green. And so 11 and negative 2. Okay. You set each of those equal to 0. Oops, minus 2 equals 0. That means nothing, so it's no solution there. So x equals negative 11 and x equals 2. So that means the width going around can only be between 0 and 2. If you got that answer, that would be 2 points extra credit. Okay, hopefully that was helpful. See you guys. Bye.
Rudolph the statistician, simple data everywhere, mean heights and heart conditions, calculated with great care. When all love is popular, population gathered from coast to coast, sought out his information. He would always give the most. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your pencil write what gifts I should take tonight. Quickly he pulled the children, the